Okay, this is just the history of the old Crag graveyard and church ruins in Rostrevor in County Down in the north of Ireland. The area traditionally known as the Crag graveyard in the village of Rostrevor is of great historical significance. Church records state that for greater convenience, a new church was built in the village under the dedication of St. Paul in 1732 and consecrated in September of 1733. This was the first church built in the parish of Kilbrony after the Reformation period. The communion silver chalice or paten was presented by Mrs. Anne Ross, wife of the first Robert Ross, to set up Rostrevor in the very early 1700s. The chalice is inscribed, "The gift of Mrs. Anne Ross to ye Church of Rostrevor, 1732, and remains in the possession of Kilbrony Parish Church." St. Paul's ceased as a place of worship when, with a growing population, the larger Kilbrony Parish Church was built at the head of the square and consecrated in 1822. After the erection of St. Paul's at the Crag, burials in the 1700s and 1800s were representative of people of all classes and creeds, including many old Rostrevor families and others of various nationality who ended their days in the neighbourhood. Here, famous people, men of cloth, mariners, and local men of the soil lie side by side in their final resting place. Hence, this little corner of Rostrevor, which attracts visitors and tourists from home and abroad to explore family connections. For example, of recent times, inquiries have come from Ireland, England, the USA, Canada, Argentina, and Australia. So, the Crag graveyard and ruins is a very important location for visitors to Rostrevor. Of course, the Crag was a burying place long before the erection of St. Paul's. Evidence exists of early headstones in the 1600s, and Dr. W.H. Crowe, in his book Village in Seven Hills, refers to one dated 1690, but many are simply small stones, unmarked memorials to long departed individuals. Local oral history refers to the Crag graveyard as an early burial place for mariners who perished at sea from what sailors in early centuries called the plague. A good example of another such burial place for sailors is located further along the coast close to Mill Bay, as known as Tamlacht, meaning place of graveyard of the plague, Tamlacht. The site contains ruins of a very small church, surrounded by headstones and grave markers. Burial sites like these were always close to the shore, as was the Crag. It was more practical to bury here than travel a distance up the valley to Old Kilbrony Graveyard. The Crag closed for interments in the early 1900s and then passed out of ecclesiastical hands when Kilkeel Rural District Council took responsibility. With council reorganisation, Newry and Mourne District Council took responsibility, but sadly they have allowed the Crag to deteriorate beyond belief. Its wild, overgrown state is a source of embarrassment to any half-decent citizen. With our local Ross connection with Washington and the visit of the 44th President of the United States of America, Barack Obama, to Ireland in 2011, to meet up with his distant relatives, and now his attendance at the recent G8 summit in County Fermanagh, I think it's worth mention that just as St. Paul's was being built in the Crag, George Washington, the very first president of the USA, was born on the 22nd of February 1732. So, perhaps this may give us a better appreciation of the depth of history and heritage we have locally, which goes back beyond the Crag and St. Paul's to the 6th century, which the 6th century would be the golden age, the age of scribes and scholars, and when the hermits of Ireland departed across Europe to bring Christianity back to the peoples of Europe during the Dark Ages. That was called the Golden Age. St. Paul's back to the 6th century Christian foundation of St. Brona in the Kilbrony Valley. As a conservation area, in February 1979, Rostrevor was officially declared an area of special architectural, and historical interest, a conservation area. Professor Green, member of the Historic Buildings Council, handed over the designation documents to the then chairman of Newry and Mourne District Council, Dr. Michael McVeary of Strathmore. The effect of this Department of Environment designation means that particular attention must be paid to preservation and enhancement of its character and appearance. The area includes the Square, Green Park Road, Shore Road, Bridge Street, Water Street, Church Street and Mary Street, which includes the old Crag graveyard and ruins. So, Newry and Mourne District Council have the responsibility of ensuring the preservation of this very historic area in all its requirements. With compliments, Robert. Thank you very much. My name is Brian McCool and my roots are in Rostrevor.